A Sweet Baby Inc. styled consultancy firm GaymerX has consulted with Niantic, and it's possible they might have influenced the company in making the radical gender and avatar changes it did in its most recent update for Pokemon Go. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. This is over at thatparkplace.com and was brought to my attention by former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern. But if you look on the company's website, it notes they have indeed consulted with Niantic. Volition and Behavior Interactive. Volition obviously no longer around, being shut down by Embracer Group. And like Sweet Baby Inc., the company claims it is, quote, is proud to offer consulting and training services to the games industry. As part of our mission to support and celebrate LGBTQIA plus people and culture in games, we offer a selection of LGBTQIA plus centered training curricula, as well as customized solutions designed to advance diversity, equity, visibility, and inclusion in gaming. The company adds, we serve individuals and businesses working in the video game and tabletop gaming industries, including independent game developers, game studios of all sizes, publishers, media outlets, and more. Specifically, the company notes GaymerX will help you create more LGBTQIA plus inclusive games, workplaces, and events. We provide a wide variety of services utilizing our in-house experts and network of consultants with diverse and intersectional identities. Then lists off a number of services that it provides, including sensitivity training, marketing, as well as multiple workshops that promote gender identity in the workplace and community management strategies for supporting LGBTQIA plus players. And there's a screenshot of their website. Kern, as I said, brought this to my attention. He posted this on X, and he questioned, what's behind the Pokemon Go gender erasure? Turns out the makers of Pokemon Go consulted with a Sweet Baby Inc. style consultancy firm, GaymerX. Did this lead to the changes these firms need to go? I wholeheartedly agree. These firms need to go. This stuff is absolutely abhorrent and evil and does massive amounts of damage to the people engaging in it and the people they're trying to convince to engage in it. So you're probably wondering what is going on with Pokemon Go, these avatars, and the gender changes. Well, I covered that in a previous video, but just in case you didn't watch that one, this is what Kern posted. He said the Pokemon Go app removed gender from all Pokemon Go players yesterday in a sweeping change that left fans at Pokemon Go HubNet furious. I took a look at the character creator myself. Gender is gone, replaced by a hodgepodge of androgynous options. Nothing can be too feminine or too male. Facial hair options gone. Male faces had softened features. Female faces had masculine jaws or thin lips. Bodies are blobs. Everything is designed to blend together in some Frankenstein-like gender-free utopia. The end result leaving no one satisfied. In another post, he explained this. Character creators in AAA games went from male-female to body type A and body type B. The next step from AAA studios I spoke with says even body types are being erased in upcoming games. Instead, you'll be presented with a random mix of male and female parts, bodies, heads, and faces. Pokemon Go already did this yesterday. This is the future of AAA games. Absolutely evil stuff here. In response to one user claiming he would be fine with the changes if he could create, quote, an aesthetically pleasing character, Kern replied, the neat thing is you can't. You can't create masculine or feminine. Everything is blended. This is not unheard of. We saw this back in 2020. An alleged industry insider informed Sausage Roll that female characters were being made to look more like men in order to promote transgenderism. The insider said it's not really about the sexual objectification of women. Women, like men, come in all shapes and sizes. To say that having big busty women is unrealistic is untrue. This is only true for trans people. Trans women can't naturally grow large breasts, and not all trans people can afford implants. If you see a game where the women are a little less curvy, it's not because the game designers are worried about receiving backlash for sexualizing women. It's because they are worried about offending the trans community. From a design standpoint, this is a really challenging problem. I've had many board meetings about how to tackle this. Trans people want, quote, realistic representation in our games. They can't because they are defying reality. They think that men can become women and women can become men. It's just not possible. You're still a man or you're still a woman. But they feel excluded if they are represented as too masculine or too feminine. That's why you'll see a lot of designers nerfing the female form, so to speak, so that the difference between trans women and cis women is a little less noticeable. This information was backed up by YouTuber Yellow Flash, who said just earlier this year, I was told it was done to be ambiguous, to make everybody feel okay and included. They're purposely trying to walk a line here so that they don't offend queer people. That's what I was told. Now take that with a grain of salt. YouTuber Melanie Mack also responded to these Pokemon Go changes that were being rolled out regionally back in March before they were rolled out earlier this week globally. She said, none of this is about women. It's the trans gays. This update isn't a relatable female frame. It's straight up transgender. And this stuff is evil. It's not only evil, it's extremely dangerous. We even have comedian Cat Williams telling Joe Rogan that the whole transgender propaganda pumped out by Hollywood, and I think we can also say these video game studios, is done at the behest of the demon Baphomet. This is what he told Rogan. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are cyclical. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. So I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his butt ring. And it said both of those things. So I knew both of those things would become popular in the future, and that somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference. Cat Williams is not the only one to say this. Archbishop Sample of the Archdiocese of Portland told Catholic Answers back in June 2022, personally, I think so many of the attacks on marriage and family life that we see in the culture today, which transgender ideology is a direct assault on marriage and family life, given the fact that it is attacking God's creation of male and female and their union through marriage and matrimony, are the result of this sort of frontal attack the enemy has launched on marriage. So just the failure rate of marriages today, the breakdown of marriages and family life, the efforts to even redefine what marriage is, these are all attacks of the enemy. Speaking specifically discussing transgender ideology, he said this: God did create, as I just said, and Genesis tells us God created the first man and woman in his image and likeness. He created them male and female. He created them. And we are in the image of likeness of God. So the enemy despises the image of God in us as God made us. And I quite honestly think a lot of this insanity with the gender ideology today is, again, another attack on the image of God in each one of us, individually in each one of us. And the idea that we can redefine ourselves and even redesign ourselves rather than accept that we have come from the hand of the creative God is indicative of this. He then shared a conversation he had with Pope Francis. He said, this is what he's saying Pope Francis told him. Pope Francis said, this is a direct assault on God himself. It's the ultimate rejection of God, that we don't need God. We don't need to accept God. We don't need to accept our individuality. We don't need to accept how God has made us. We just cast God aside, and I will define myself. Archbishop Sample later added, this ideology that's in the culture today, now that there's no such thing as a binary gender, there's multiple genders that we can define. Nobody's one or the other. We're just in this gender fluidity, so that young people growing up are indoctrinated into this ideology. And this is what Pope Francis goes off after. It's a terrible thing what's happening. I absolutely 100% concur. It's absolutely terrible. It is destroying people. And Archbishop Sample actually explains with that. Look at that beautiful painting of St. Michael the Archangel there, though. Had to include that. This is who we need to reach out to. We need to be asking St. Michael the Archangel to help us fight against these demons that are trying to destroy people's lives. But Archbishop Sample has explained how this ideology is so dangerous in his A Catholic Response to Gender Identity Theory. He says, to some, supporting aspects of social transition may seem benign, even humane, such as using someone's preferred pronouns and actively affirming his or her perceived gender. However, while well-intentioned, this kind of endorsement may help shepherd a young person on a path of unnecessary medicalization. Again, this stuff leads to mutilation, physical harm. It's just absolutely terrible what this ideology does. And again, it is an attack on the image of God that is within all of us, because we're all created in the image of God. And that's what that's what the devil and his minions want to do. They want to destroy people. They want to bring people down into and wallow in the misery with them. And so transgender ideology clearly does that. It's very obvious how it does it. And Archbishop Sample is explaining it here too. He says social transition is often the first step towards hormones and surgery. A 2020 survey of transgender and non-binary youth found that 64% of respondents were either already receiving cross-sex hormones or desired to do so. Danish researchers who first used puberty blockers on gender dysphoric children found that social transition increased the likelihood that dysphoria would persist and result in medicalization. Social transition can also include practices such as breast binding and genital tucking, both of which have been shown to have adverse effects on physical health, like testicular torsion and reduced fertility in males, and abnormal lung function and back pain in females. So clear physical problems due to this ideology. So clearly, it attacks you physically, it attacks you spiritually, it attacks you emotionally. And here he talks about some of the other ways that this ideology attacks people. Moreover, a 2020 study on the effects of social transition found that family and peer relations, but not social transition status, predicted psychological functioning. So I would not be surprised if GaymerX was influencing Niantic to make these changes. I've also documented in a previous video that Niantic is all about the transgender ideology. They've been posting about it since at least 2021. They have at least four or five social media posts that they've done since then. We know the Pokemon company is all about the DEI initiatives. That's all well documented on their website. They promote that as well. So we need to fight this stuff. And I think one of the first steps is raising awareness and showing exactly why this stuff is evil and wrong. And I do think that is one of the issues that we do face. I think we know it's inherently wrong, but we don't. Maybe sometimes we aren't sure how to articulate why it's wrong, and that's why I like to share a lot of a lot of the stuff from church leaders. Obviously, we looked at Archbishop Sample's stuff here. I think he's really good. He's really leading the way on why this stuff is so wrong and so evil, and I think he explains it extremely well, much better than I could. And that's why I like to cite him. So I hope this gives you guys some courage to fight this stuff, because we have to fight this stuff. It doesn't matter how much suffering we go through, how much onslaught this stuff is. We cannot cave to this. We must fight it. We must continue to fight it. We must oppose it, because it's our souls, the souls of our families, souls of our neighbors, the souls of our countrymen. We must stand up to this stuff. It is absolutely evil, and we are called to oppose it. But let me know what you guys make of this GaymerX Sweet Baby Inc. style consultancy group influencing Niantic, and obviously Niantic buying into the ideology as well and pushing this ideology through their new character creator, avatar styles, and all that jazz. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable to each other, but to always speak the truth.